I want to welcome you to Dream Chasers Radio with me, your host, Yaya Diamond. What's up, peoples? How you doing? Okay, we have a great topic today. Girlfriend, I got a girl. Oh, we got to go back. Okay. We got a great topic today because Brittany Griner, I believe that is her last name, is home. She is actually, she's coming home. So there was a swap. There was a trade that was made by the president, and she's coming home. But there's a lot of different things to that. Okay. There's a lot of healing that needs to go on. There's a lot of different things that need to happen. And I have my girlfriend, Miss Gaston, here, and she is a natural healer. She is someone that I really wanted to talk to today. And we talked about this a second ago, like, hey, let's talk about that.
Yes.
The healing aspect and all that. But tell people about yourself.
Thank you so much, sweetheart. And I'm so honored to be on Yaya Diamond's show. What? My name is AMIKAEYLA Gaston. I'm very excited to be here. I am the founder of the International Cultural Arts and Healing Sciences Institute, and I'm also one of the co-executive directors for World Trust Educational Services. And what we do is we talk about healing in a way that's around arts as advocacy. We talk about social justice and radical imagination and ways that we can go through pillars of healing as a whole person, as a whole being, not just medicinally or not just socially or politically, but our whole sense of self and what we need to do, not just as a country, but as a species. We have to talk about the fact that water, we need to talk about water. We have to talk about the environment. We have to talk about all the different ways that we need to reshape and reframe how we interact with one another and who we be in the world to each other. And Brittany is the perfect example of that. I mean, this sister went over there and, for all the reasons that we read in the newspapers, and she was trapped. Can you imagine? I read this interview with her partner, how she got a phone call saying, I'm about to be here for 7 years. I'm not coming home in a day. I'm not stuck here for a week. I'm about to be here for the duration. Can you imagine hearing your partner tell you over the telephone from a jail cell in Russia that you are there for a long time? And I actually, because of the work that I do with the Foreign Services Institute as a cultural arts ambassador, I spoke to one of the embassy reps that was only in Russia during the war with the Ukraine because of Brittany. She was there to be her advocate, to be her mouthpiece, and was talking about just the angst and the agony and the pain that this woman was going through. Not only because she's in a place where she doesn't speak the language, she doesn't know anybody except her embassy rep, but how she feels unjustly detained, how this felt like a racial attack, how this felt, yes, exactly. So, there's all kinds of things entwined with respect to her and race and international relations and the way that we view drugs in this country and beyond. Like, all the things need to be discussed and analyzed through a lens that is with compassion, but also with a critical eye on how can we make change. Because, I don't want to be one of those pundits that sits on the stage like another thing and another thing, unless we are offering solutions. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, how can we bring about healing and change? That's what I want to know.
There's going to be a lot of healing going on with Miss Brittany Griner when she comes back. The traumatization of it all. I mean, it could have been gummies for all we know.
Hey,
I mean, literally, it could have been just one gummy.
Yes, that they sell in the grocery store over here. Exactly. We don't know. Yeah.
And it's like they want to make a political thing about it because Russia was trying to get the attention of the world, and that is the main point. And sustaining her there, keeping her there, stopping her from coming home after a basketball game.
It's unheard of. And, all the things surrounding it are also unheard of. So I, do a lot of work internationally. We have this program called Broadway Bound, where I go to different countries and we bring musicals where we do a cultural exchange and we talk about all of these things that we're talking about right now, but we do it through songs. So we do songs like For Seasons of Love from Rent, and we talk about love, and we talk about, homophobia and justice through the lens of the arts is really what it's about. And so when I was in the Ukraine, I performed in these beautiful palatial theaters. They were gorgeous. The Ukrainian people are so incredible and wonderful and sweet. And to hear it that in one day, the last place that I performed was the first place that got bombed and is decimated and is gone. Like a 1,000-year-old building with all this gilded gold in the ceiling, like all of the artistry. The way to really have cultural erasure and destruction of a soul of a people is to squash its voice through it, the way that it expresses itself, which is through the arts. So of course that's going to be the first place that gets bombed. All the sacred sites, all these ways that you want to break down a people, you take away their hope. And with Brittany coming home, now we've got all this hope again. But her being away from us took away our hope and our joy.
It
And
did.
instilled fear, right?
Yeah, it did. It instilled a fear of travel.
Yes.
People don't want to go over even to London.
Yes.
Even to London. It's like, wait a minute, they're too close.
That's right. And you
They're
have
too close.
that's right. And you have no idea who's going to get you for what, like all the different ways. And so again, it's keeping us separated. It's keeping us that fear of us versus them, that kind of binary thought that happens all the time that keeps us afraid of new things, new people, new ways, new cultures, is because of these things.
Yeah.
Kind of systemic, not, it's more than racism, it's hatred of other.
It definitely is. It definitely is. And I think that, it goes beyond color at this point, because you have Russia who can go to Europe and grab anybody that they want to grab. And it really doesn't matter what color, but they've taken someone from their country and kept them in their country. And it scares everybody. Not just Blacks, not just Hispanics, not just, Indians. It scares everybody across the board, and no one wants to be detained. But I think the biggest thing was that her status as a celebrity and what their initial and final goal was to get the attention of the world. Look what we can do to this celebrity.
And absolutely. And how it speaks to our need to have conversations around tolerance, right? Tolerance on every level. Like, how can we re-engage with one another and talk about things before it gets to this extreme where she's being detained and kept and all the rest of those things without a level of conversation? And it just turned into this one crime was committed, this, even though it's a different policy in our country. Like, I understand all of those things, but it really feels like she was a scapegoat and she was used as to tout these like ideals, as opposed to it really being that big of a crime. Like
Definitely.
you said, it could have been one gummy. We don't even know.
Exactly. Could have been half a gummy, girl. Could have been residue. Anyway, so we don't know.
That's some shade at the bottom of the bag. We don't know.
Look at the bottom of that bag. You see that? You see that? But not only that, I truly believe that people's sexual preference is their business. That's their business.
There it is right there, Mama.
I am not the judge nor the juror. When it comes to it, I don't know. And I don't want to know. I just want to live my life. My favorite auntie, she passed away not too long ago. She was all the way. She was all the way gay, all the way. I mean, I never really thought of her as anybody but my aunt and someone I loved. Her sexual preference didn't concern me.
She loved me. That's right.
She loves me. I loved my aunt. And when she passed away, it hurt.
Yeah.
And so but they took it there.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So again, tolerance, right? They're all the things. Not being tolerant of race, not being tolerant of sexual preference, not being tolerant of gender, not being tolerant of all these things, right? Leads us down this path. And these are ills that are in our country as well. And so how do we open up a dialogue and a space? And, gratefully, you are so cool. And you've got this fabulous platform to be in conversation around what it means to be folk that need to look at why we can't allow for other people to be free. What does co-liberation mean? I am not free until we are all free. You are not free until we're all free. We will stay in the conversations around equity and social injustices until we are all free, because as we know, we who believe in freedom cannot rest. Period. End of story.
That's right. That's right. And no matter who you are, I think if you go to a different country, there's always going to be prejudice. If you go as a Black person to Japan and you hook up with a Japanese and you have a baby, those babies are not accepted.
That's right.
If you go to India and you're white and you hook up with an Indian person, sometimes those babies are not accepted.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there's all prejudice across the board.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You don't have to just be Black. You don't have to be just Indian. You don't have to, but, as a Black woman,
Talk
knowing
about
our
it.
history, knowing the prejudice that we get, no matter where we are, we could be walking down our own block and get it. Okay.
That's right. Because
That is one of the biggest factors that I saw when they detained her. They could have detained anybody. And I beg to differ that she was the only person that had something in her
listen,
stuff. Hello.
girl,
She was
every
the only
time
one. The only one.
can
We
we just talk
talking
about
basketball players here. The only one? Really?
listen.
Oh, sorry. I'm not even gonna go there.
Girl, no, go there because
Back
it's all
up.
about profiling too.
It's just
How
like
I always get stopped at the airport. I
come on.
always magically, surprisingly, whoopsie daisy, have to get detained, frisked, look through all my stuff because I look like this all the time. You mean to tell? And let me tell you something. I remember I was in the line. I was coming back to the States from Tel Aviv, and this white woman behind me went, "Oh God, I'm stuck behind her," because she knew what that she was gonna have to wait long in the line. Cause why? Everybody knows that they're going to detain me and super search me and all the rest of that stuff, just like they did her.
My gosh. My dreadlocks always gets it, and I don't wear anything in them. I just let my hair fall down. They want to touch it. They want to look through it. I'm like, what the heck?
They
What am
right
I
under.
hiding something in the middle of them or something?
They right in. Right. They right under here. Mine right under here. That's right.
See? You know what I mean? It's like, come on, man. Come on, man. This is a fashion thing. This is my hair. It grows out of my head like this. What's wrong with
That's right.
y'all?
I don't run
I ain't
behind you
hiding
trying to
none of my
sneak touch it.
rolls.
Trying to sneak touch it. Right. I know. What is
They
going
thinking that you hiding something underneath those rolls you got. I got a big old roll in my stomach because I had 2 C-sections. So they would have checked that out too. Daggone it. If I don't put deodorant there, it ain't gonna smell good. You know what I mean? You don't even need to be down there. What the heck?
Listen, why are you all up in my pieces?
I
Right, exactly. I know,
know.
girl. They're always like, I have to always go through the thing where you put your hands up in the air and
Yeah.
whatnot. Girl, and I always walk through. I'm like, I know you're gonna stop. You're gonna have to frisk me because there's all kinds of bulges and bubbles, and you're gonna have to check them all. So go ahead on, call whoever, Miss Seeley, whoever you gotta call over here.
You gonna do right by me.
Mm.
You gonna do
All
right by
you
me.
touch school crumble. Listen, I be calling Miss Seeley all the time, man. Me and Chuck, me and
don't let
you
me start
must
humming.
never apart. Listen, girl, me and my girls, yes.
I'll
Whenever
tell
we
you.
leave each other, that's what we start doing. And then that can't be.
Oh my gosh. But that's so, oh my gosh. I mean,
That's
just
deep, heartfelt stuff right there.
you are into healing, and we got Brittany coming home. There's so many different people that are hurt right now and scared. It's not just Brittany coming here, it's her partner. It's the people that are scared. Like in certain states, you got scared this year to vote because it was people being arrested because
That's
they
right.
went and they voted and they didn't even know that there was a second person voting with their name. They had no idea, but they got arrested. So
That's
what
right.
does that tell you? I ain't voting.
Yeah. I mean, and like I think about how diabolical that is, right? Like
That is terrible.
fear just trickles down and is really insipid and goes into all these different things. And you keep the fear there when you don't allow people to have real conversations. And I was watching some comedian and they were talking about how, now social media is all about fake news. And it's not necessarily whether it's true, it's all about the sensationalism of it, right? So that also feeds the fear beast, right? You want people to stay kind of in this heightened state of stress and heightened state of fear. And then you can tell them whatever you want. They'll believe anything that you say. And here we go. And there ain't no truth to that. And you tell somebody, you get some of those Proud Boys and you rile them up, and then you have them storming the Capitol. Honey, I'm from DC. I was watching that on the news. I thought I was looking at some kind of crazy new film. I was like, when is this coming out? This was happening live and in Technicolor on the television. And there wasn't a cop to be seen, honey. And listen, the week before the Black Lives Matter march, they were all over the place, auntie. And exactly. Do we have to say anymore?
Nope.
Is it
I'm
really
done.
rocket science, boo? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now,
Mm,
girl.
mm.
I'm sorry,
Well,
listeners. Y'all don't even know we had a moment, honey.
but is it not true?
Is it
Is
not
it not
true?
true?
And
Look,
doesn't it need to be talked about?
it's
Period.
the truth. It's
Yes.
the truth. Regardless of where you're from, what color you are, you know it's the truth. Let me ask all the people who are not Black at this moment, would you trade your color to be Black for the next 3 days? I bet you the answer is no, because you know why. That's the end of that. That's the end of that. End
Listen,
of that right there. Would you? Would you? No, you wouldn't.
it's really so deep. And what breaks my heart so deeply is I love being Black. I love my skin color. I love my beautiful people. Let me tell you, this Thanksgiving, honey, we hadn't seen each other for years. And we did it like I felt like I was back in Sister Schubert's back shack, honey. We had so much food. We made grandma's old recipe. We had such and such and so and so. We had 5 different pies. We had turkey. We did all the things. And it wasn't about the food, it was about the traditions. It was about the being together. It was about the sharing stories. Girl, we were playing bidwits and spades, and we were dancing we were learning about the shuffle, like the sharing of stories. We're a griot culture. We share stories. We get around the table. We talking about how you make your collards, how you make your collard greens.
Mm-hmm.
I use this kind. I use smoked turkey. I use fatback. I use that. All the things come when you're together and when you're sitting at the
Yeah.
kitchen table. But if you have these ways where we're kept separated because of fear, because systemically, your auntie is gay and she ain't allowed around the table because everybody got some things to say, like, you lose the storyline there. you
Yeah, you
you
do.
lose a core part of your being. The quilt cannot be complete if this patch over here, which is auntie that's gay, is missing. So
Yeah,
we can't have this kind of intolerance. We lose ourselves when we don't allow all of ourselves to be at the table.
definitely. How do we heal that? How do we step forward towards progress instead of regression?
That is the question, Mama. And it's funny because this is the work that I do. So at World Trust, we do things where we work with places like Google and different universities and, corporations. And we try and step into a space where we know that people on a systemic level want to some degree, everybody's got a diversity, equity, and inclusion division, but they still need the tools to have these conversations because at the end of the
Yeah,
day, people are silenced because of fear, right? So they're
yeah,
self-silencing. And so they are, quiet quitting, they call it. There are all these little names that they call it, where they're afraid of making a mistake. They're afraid of upsetting someone. They're afraid of saying something bad. And so they say nothing at all. And so how do we grow as a people if we don't create some kind of formula for um getting people to stop feeling like they can't step out of their comfort zone to talk to other people? We have to
hmm
be able, even if you're going to make a mistake. So when I go to different places around the country and out of the country, there's always a moment where you get pulled to the side and they're like, here are the cultural norms for this place that you're in. You're in the Ukraine. These are the things you can do. You in Saudi Arabia. These are the things you can't do. And this is just how it goes. And if you misstep, you apologize and ask to be corrected. It's really
hmm
that simple. Like, it doesn't
yeah,
have to be all, drama filled and emotional and, sorry, oh my God, fire his ass, like all of that. So we need to learn how, if somebody comes up and tries to touch my hair, I turn around, I kindly correct them. I say, thank you so much for admiring my gorgeousness. I appreciate you. And I don't let anybody touch my hair. That's not
I
how
hear
this
that.
goes. This is my antenna. This is how I stay in touch with things seen and unseen. So you can't be messing with my mojo like that.
Hello.
But it doesn't have to turn into like where I'm cutting them and slicing them and I, so we have to learn how to be in alignment with one another, even if they do need the royal smackdown. We have to learn how to be in a way where they have to be willing to learn. Now, if they're coming up and they're, I could do what I want to do, then they might need a harder scolding. You know what I'm saying? But there
Yeah,
needs to be some kind of interaction that isn't always resulting in cancel culture. And there we get into cancel culture, right? Everybody trying to
yeah.
quit everybody because everybody's sick of everybody, which means you only hanging out with the people you feel comfortable with. Now everybody's getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And now Brittany's in jail. Because the world is so small and we can't have no conversations around the little baby shake at the bottom of the bag. You know what I'm
Wow,
saying?
honey. Let me tell
Just
you, like I
roll
said,
together.
she was not the only one. I'm sorry. They just singled her out.
Well, what do you think is going to help people get into a place of healing around this stuff? I mean,
Understanding each other.
yes.
The understanding of this is where I come from. This is why it happened. This is where I changed my mind. This is where this happened. This is me, this is my culture. I understand. Do you understand my culture? A lot of times I've talked to people and they said, oh, I never knew that. And I'm like, if you did know that, would that change the way you interact with other people? Oh yeah, definitely. So we don't understand each other. Like you said, cancel culture has canceled everything. It's
That's
just
right.
canceled everything.
And
I
we're
mean,
not talking to each other. We're just canceling folks and blah, blah, blah.
well,
Exactly.
see, I remember back in the day when I was very, very young. I was very young. And then this may be kind of on the left side. I always like to, kind of refer to
Yay. We like left
look,
side. Go, go, go.
hey. So on the on at nighttime at around 10 or 11 o'clock, the TV would sign out.
Yes.
And you would get the bars.
And the
Mm-hmm. Get the
yes.
bars and the white noise. And that
Yes.
was it until it came back on in the morning. That was when everybody was like, we were already at the dinner table eating because
Yes.
we knew the TV was going off. There was nothing else we wanted to watch that night, and the TV would be off for hours.
Yes.
We need to have no TV. We need to be talking with each other.
Yeah.
We need to be calm, hey,
Yes.
we're going to have so-and-so over tonight for dinner. A big old table on the mahogany table with 12 different chairs of different people sitting at the same table, eating and talking and reaching over each other.
Yes.
That's where we are gone wrong. Now it's I'm sitting and I'm eating by myself.
Looking at my phone, even if we're at the same table, I'm on my phone, you on your phone, the children are on their phones. Ain't nobody talking to each other. That's absolutely true. That's absolutely true. It really does boil down to communication. You won't understand each other unless you hear each other.
And
if
I was in a neighborhood where we invited other people over, didn't matter what color they were.
Girl, let me tell you, my dad used to get so mad. Why are you giving away all our food? Because all the neighborhood children needed snacks, and I had to be the snack giver. Right? I'm like, come on, Roma.
Oh, you and me both, child. Be like, who's that in my refrigerator?
That's the quote. Who's that in my refrigerator?
In my refrigerator.
Honey, oh my God, that is so real. That is so kicking me back to my childhood, truly.
Oh, yeah. But back then, it was great. I mean, I didn't know that I was Black. I didn't know because everybody was different colors. We had whites, we had Blacks, we had Hispanics, we had everybody in my neighborhood. When I realized I was Black was when I went overseas.
Wow. Where did you go?
I went to Europe. I went to to London.
The UK.
I went to London, and then I was called the N-word, and I was like, "What was that?
What's happening right now?" Yes.
What was that?
Yes.
Who is that? Are you talking to me? Because I was raised in a mixed family.
How old were you when you went?
4.
Yes.
At 4 years old, I figured out I was Black, and then I started to doubt myself. Like, well, if I'm Black, then that means I'm less than. Kids don't know.
That's right. They don't. How can they understand the social construct of race?
They don't care. That's the biggest thing. We give them the know-how.
We give
them their direction. And until we stop doing that,
the hatred. That's right. That's right.
It's not going to stop.
That's right. That's right. I remember when I first, similar to you, the first time I was made aware of race, I was around 5 or 6. We moved into this new neighborhood, and it was all white people except for us and one other Black family, honey. And I got called the N-word so much, I thought it meant the new kid in the neighborhood. I really did. So when a new little girl moved in next door with blonde hair and blue eyes, I ran up and called her the N-word. And that's when my parents pulled me into the house, and they were like, okay, let me explain to you what's going on. And that was the first time I was like, wow, all those horrible jokes, all those horrible songs using the N-word that I was singing along to because I had no idea as a little child what that meant. I really did think that it was how you kind of were accepted into the neighborhood. You kind of went through this hazing process. It wasn't until then that I realized that people were cruel and that those things were directed at me. And it really reshaped how I viewed my friends, how I interacted with them. Like it took my own kind of working it out to get back into the groove of wanting to be where I was. It was very painful. And like you said, little kids don't know.
They don't know.
Don't know.
They don't know. And I think Brittany is going to come back with a lot of that.
I hope she comes back to open arms and people like welcoming her and cheering her. And
what I'm saying is from
yes.
Russia, that
Yeah.
experience, I believe that she had that experience over there, and that she's going to come back with a lot of that hatred that she experienced over there, and she's going to need a lot of healing. Man, I wish that we could continue to talk some more, but we're out of time. You know, girlfriend, let me tell you something. It is fat, girl. What? But we're going to have you back on the show. Definitely going to have you back on the show. How can people reach you? I know you do so much. Let me check this out for a second, because I was reading up. You have healing. You found your voice. You had a near-death experience.
Yes, honey.
Oh, girl, we got to talk about that.
Yeah, they tried to kill me because I was a Black woman, honey. That was a straight up hate crime.
Yeah,
and
you got transformed, healed. You do a lot of different things. You go out, you sing. I mean, you've done so many different things, and I am just so excited to have had you on the show. And I know we wanted to talk about Brittany, but next time you come back, we got to talk about you.
That sounds great. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
No problem. Thank you. Where can people find you?
They can find me at AMIKAEYLA.com or ICAHSI.org.
Awesome. Well, we're going to put that in the description box below so that people can get that and they can go ahead and go straight there. And then our next interview is going to be with Miss, oh gosh, I'm bad with name, AMIKAEYLA.
That's right. You did it.
Hey.
And his number is me. Okay. La 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 la.
Uh-oh. La 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 la. But thank you so much. I appreciate having you. It's like we've known each other for so long.
It's so true.
And I'm telling you.
Happy
So again,
holidays
guys,
to you and your family.
Oh, and you
and
too.
all your listeners. Happy holidays, everybody.
Definitely,
Stay safe,
definitely.
Stay well.
Definitely. And I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment below. And AMIKAEYLA will be looking out for those comments and answering any questions you might have. But please go to her website, because that's just the best way to get in touch with her.
So true.
You know, sometimes we don't look at the comments below because we're busy. And then next thing you know, the comments been sitting there for 2 weeks. But don't forget to subscribe, because we will be looking out for your subscriptions and your comments. Don't forget to dare to be different. Woo! Don't be the same. Be different. Be you. Be who you were meant to be. And until next time, guys, bye. Bye. Woo-woo.
I did to be different. I did to be different. I did to be different.